If you are someone who is looking to make consistent profit within meme coin trading, then you need to have a strategy for how you're going to do it. And some of the big mistakes that I think people make when they get into meme coins is they don't know what they're looking for, they're not using tools, and they don't have a strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through and I'm going to show you examples of trades that I've made in the past and the strategy that I used and the mindset that I went through when I was taking these trades so that I could be profitable over time. Before we start, if you are trading meme coins and you are looking for a community to join mine, which is Canto Labs. You can see the link right here, but I'll put the link down below too. It is a full trading community with bots, with a wallet tracker, Twitter alerts, and a community that is active all the time trading meme coins. And so if you're experienced or if you're looking to learn, definitely join up. So to start, we're going to take a look at a couple of trades that I made. And we're going to talk about the overall strategy that I had going into these trades. And before I even say anything at all, meme coin trading is largely about timing. And I know that sounds obvious, but you have to have your own strategy and you have to be able to say, this is what I'm good at. This is what I think can do well. And this is how I'm going to profit over time. There are some people, and what they do is they sit on MemeScope and they'll look at graduated tokens like this and they'll just buy whatever, right? You see something that's brand new and you ape into it and you either win or you lose, right? Like we get that. Now, if you are trading these tokens, then what it's good to have is these bots that I have within my Discord, which is called Mugestu, which you can go and you can search and you can see the top holders for any specific token. You can see if it's bundled. You can use all this stuff to your advantage and you can trade this page if you want. You can trade brand new stuff if you want. I'm going to start with how I like to trade established tokens. And then I'm going to also give you an example of a couple brand new tokens that I did trade also and how that went. So the first thing is on a coin like Chill Guy. I think a lot of people have seen this meme and I made over 180 SOL scalping this chart. And basically what I did is I waited for the perfect time, which, as you can see right here, this coin went to 475 million. I saw that it was dumping pretty hard down to 300, which means that it had dumped over 50%. You can see that I bought a lot right here, and it actually wasn't the bottom. So I bought a lot, and then I ended up buying a little bit more. And then I DCA'd here at the bottom. DCAing and dollar cost averaging is one of the big things that a lot of people overlook. And I just sold it into this bounce. Now, I've said this before, but there are times, obviously, when the dip keeps dipping and you will have to dollar cost average a little bit more to save yourself. But once you have become a little bit more experienced and you are trading this stuff, you can get a feel for when a coin is going to bounce. This coin was too big, in my opinion, not to bounce there because it had too many holders and it had too much volume. So much to the point where 3 hours later, I did it again, where I had scalped here. And I had once again just bought during this dip and then I sold into this pump. When I bought this time, I literally bought like the Pico bottom. Like this was the absolute bottom. And I also sold a little bit too early, which sucked because I missed out on a lot of profit. But this is just one of the things that I really like to do. Now, I did this probably 2 to 3 weeks ago. I'm going to give you an example of a coin that I traded just the other day, which is called Rismus. This was a very bundled token that was on the trending for Phantom, and this coin had ran all the way to 90 million. I saw it get dumped all the way down to like 25, and so I aped in. I sold it when it went up to, I think, right, I don't know the exact amount, but like 40 million or so. So I bought down here at like 28, scalped it. I ended up buying back in, scalped it again, and then it dumped. And then I just kind of hung out and I was waiting and then I saw it dump again. So I decided that I was going to buy back in here at like 10 million and I sold when it went up to like 14 or 15. This did not pump back as fast as I would have hoped for it to. And it did actually like level off a little bit, but I papered the hell out of this. Like I would have made 50 SOL on this trade if I had just held it a little bit longer because I would have hit a 2x instead of like a 20% gain. And then if you look at some newer coins, right? This was a coin that had pumped up. This was a long time ago. This coin pumped up to 370K. I saw it get a massive dump. I bought again, and then I sold, and I turned 4 SOL into 4.5. You may say, oh, well, that's not a lot of money. But if you are not using a lot of capital, then this is something that you can do to stack bags. And then this is your typical top blast, right? I remember I put in 5 SOL into this at around, I think it was 190K. And then I ended up selling basically for a 40% gain right up here. And I made 2 SOL. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to give you an example of a time that this did not work out in my favor. This was a coin called Frick, and it was a coin that was launched by a guy who has a ton of followers on Twitter and on TikTok and Instagram, and like he created his own IP. It's like this own little frog thing, and this was a coin that had a ton of volume. I was seeing it all over the place. And so I was buying into dips, basically like, I mean, it was on a little bit of a run up, but I wanted to take a position. I ended up buying down here. I ended up buying down here. I could have sold for break even if I really wanted to, but this was a coin that like I thought could go way higher because at the time it was at 20 million. I thought that this probably had 30 to 40 million potential. It didn't. I ended up having to DCA, and I was just buying. And I ended up de-risking a little bit here. And then it pumped. I saw that it was breaking down and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to get out of this. And so the thing that I wish that I had done on this coin specifically is I wish that I would have sold for break even, obviously. But if you look at this from a percentage standpoint, I only lost 10%. Yes, it was 15 SOL, which is like a couple grand. But for me, I felt like all things considered, I took a position, I DCA'd into it. It didn't go the way that I wanted. And I said, I am willing to lose 10% on this trade, which is what I did. And that's just going to happen. So it depends really on how much you're going in. If you're going in with 5 SOL in a trade, you have to be able to say to yourself, this is how much I'm willing to lose. And this is how much I am wanting to make. So have a mental stop loss and also a mental take profit for whatever position that you are currently in. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because my strategy has always been to buy dips, DCA, and then sell into pumps. And I try to get 50 to 100% gains. There are some tokens that I do hold for the long haul, but in this market where everything is rotations, like people are just constantly changing and they want, every time a new coin comes out, they sell off their old positions and they get into whatever like the flavor of the day is, that new coin. And so I think that that's one thing that a lot of people don't do, which is have a strategy and stick to that strategy. And I will say this, whenever I stray away from my strategy, I always lose. I always lose. If I ever trade a way that I am it's not what I have done successfully over time, if I top blast into tokens that have a lot of volume, that are hype or whatever, I always lose. But when I stick to the plan and I stick to my strategy that I use over time, I generally win. And the goal for you is to win more than you lose over time. And that always needs to be your thing. If you lose 3 trades in a day, that's fine. Come back, win the next 5. The goal is to win more than you lose. It is not a, I need to hit a lottery ticket, I need to hit a home run on every single play. Your goal is to just win more than you lose over time. And so I wanted to show everybody this because I think that it makes a lot of sense for you to take a step back and say, this is the kind of trader that I want to be. I want to trade coins that are sub 100K market cap, and I want to put in 0.5 SOL and I want to ride it for a 10X. Or I want to take 5 SOL and I want to buy into something that is pumping and sell for a 10 to 20% or even 100 or 200% gain, depending on how much risk you're willing to take on. That's totally up to you. But most people that are trading this market unsuccessfully have no plan. They're not using tools. They're not using a strategy, and they just get cooked. And that's why people that do this over time and that have a good strategy and have experience, they win because they are saying to themselves, this is how I plan to make money on this trade. This is how I'm going to get out of trouble in this trade if I really want to. And if I lose on this trade, then I know that I'm going to make it up on the next one. So anyway, join my Discord. I'll put the link down below. Again, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. Drop a like and a comment. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.